Hello, the one or two people that are still on this channel. This is going to be a very quick video. First picture, gonna show how I would edit it, and then I'll show a second one. It's slightly different, but this is basically my Lightroom workflow for like every picture almost that I end up putting in here. But yeah, so as you can see, it's kind of like the focal point is sort of the waterfall in the middle, and since it's like this, what I would probably do is try to have like, I guess like a vignette around it in a way, but not really a vignette, but just like try to, let's see what the clarity does for it. Just pump it up a little bit, not max it out, but one thing for sure, crop it a little bit so that the waterfall is for sure in the center, and also, let's see, you can put a graduated filter on either one of these sides, and when you do that, not do it that hardcore, but you can see you can kinda like make it a little bit darker on the sides. Don't go overboard with it because it'll just look like your everyday like Facebook filter or whatever if you go too hardcore on it. But just a little bit goes a long way. And as you can see, made that a little bit darker so the eyes don't really get as distracted from the other little waterfall on the side. And then let's do it again with the other one. And then bump down the exposure just a little bit. Nothing too much. Maybe negative 40, negative 30 range. And then also maybe do one more for the bottom. Excuse me. And then same exact exposure down there. Now, not really looking at it, there's not too much of a difference, but I mean, for one, the cropping did way more than the vignette did. But let's see, let's try to change the color slightly, change the blues, make it a little bit more colder, because it was a cold day. Make it a little bit of a colder picture, I guess is the way you could put it. And let's see here, let's bump up the highlights a tiny, well, not really a tiny bit, about 60. Just get a little bit more detail out of these rocks, and especially the water. Let's see what dehazing does. Okay, don't do that. Sometimes I like to put down the vibrance a little bit, just because, I don't know, with something like this, I feel like more of a moody feel is better for it in the long run, which there's a lot of greens and stuff already, so you don't want to, I guess if you was to up the vibrance even more, you see, it just kind of, I don't know, it becomes too green for me anyway. But yeah, let's see, is there anything else we can do? Maybe since it was a darkened picture, put in a little bit of noise reduction. Not that much though, just a tiny bit. But yeah, I think that's about enough for the first picture. Let's head off to the second picture. This one actually has kind of a dumb story behind it. But the big waterfall back here, I actually dropped one of my lenses inside of its bag off of this waterfall, and then it rolled down onto this one, and I had to crawl down the rocks just to just to retrieve my lens. But didn't actually crack it, so it's whatever. But so this one's a little bit more extreme with what you have to do with cropping. So you could probably do it automatically down here in the automatic transform option, and it'll try to level it, but then you'll have to increase the size of it anyway. But actually, let's see. Go back to the crop tool. Okay, there we go. I was just doing it wrong. And then try to get all of the white out of it if you can. And then, since it's such an extreme case of needing to be cropped, you really do have to work with a little bit. Let's see, let's make it a tiny bit bigger. There we go. That should be fine. And then, again, we can go back to the clarity slider, which does wonders. And then, for this one, I would probably, bump down the highlights a little bit, I guess, just to make a little bit extra detail and the water come back. Let's see. Just change. Maybe bump up the whites a little bit. Let's see what making it a tiny bit more blue would do. Just exactly how I did the first one. But this one wants to go pretty extreme on the histogram for the blues. But let's see. Let's turn. Yeah. I think turning down the shadows a little bit helps it. Let's see. Now, for something like this, I wouldn't really recommend changing the vibrance, just because of all the detail and all the colors we would be losing from all this clay on the rocks here. But, I mean, you do you. Me personally, I probably wouldn't change it too much, just because you get this nice little change in the texture of the rocks as it's coming closer to the water. And even if you want to, sometimes people mess with the tone curve to give it more of like a cinematic look in the shadows, but I'm not gonna do that, just because this picture in particular I don't think would look that good with it. But yeah, that's about it. I don't think this picture really needs any help with denoising at all. But yeah, super quick. What I usually do, just bump up the clarity, mess with the highlights a little bit depending on what you're trying to focus on. If what you're trying to focus on is blown out, obviously just put down the highlights a little bit, and I help it, especially if it's water. But yeah, peace dudes.